Welcome to Film 5D, the show about everything film and video with the Sony a7S II. I'm your host, Aaron Hammock, and this week I take a look at what many call the industry standard shotgun microphone, the Sennheiser MKH-416. So, I'm back for a few episodes in the making, and I recently started upgrading some of my gear to more professional level standards. And the first upgrade I made was to my audio. Now, I had been recording with the Audio-Technica AT897 into my Zoom H6 for years now, and decided to upgrade to the top of the line, industry standard Sennheiser MKH-416, which I will be using to record the audio for this entire episode. It's right up here. Now, there are already plenty of great reviews on the MKH-416 on YouTube already, so I don't plan on going into too much detail beyond a few video tests comparing it to cheaper mics. I'd rather give you my insight on what I think many of you watching are already wondering. If I already own an entry-level shotgun microphone, should I upgrade to a top-of-the-line one? I'll do my best to answer this question for you given my experience with this microphone for the past month, but let me first just give you some quick features that immediately stand out about this condenser microphone. Number one, it has a very high sensitivity directly in front of it, much more than any shotgun mic I've ever used. When I first tried this mic, I had to immediately turn down the levels on my Zoom H6. In fact, let's just listen to a quick comparison between this mic and two other popular low-end mics at the same level. This is an audio test for sensitivity of the Sennheiser MKH-416 at a level of 5.5 on the Zoom H6, 1 foot away from the mic. This is an audio sensitivity test for the Audio-Technica AT897 at a volume of 5.5 on the Zoom H6 at a distance of 1 foot. This is an audio test for the Rode NTG2 at a distance of 1 foot. The settings on the Zoom H6 are set to 5.5, volume level is 5.5, and you can't really hear anything. So just from that test, you can hear how much louder you can get this mic to be. I mean, the Rode NTG2 is notorious for being just too quiet, and you can definitely hear the advantage of the Sennheiser here. But let me do another test where I raise the levels on the H6 to louder gain to allow the other two mics to have a balanced vocals and see how they fare. This is another audio test for the Audio-Technica AT897. The volume is now set to a level of 7 on the Zoom H6 to match the Sennheiser MKH-416. This is an audio test for the Rode NTG2. The audio is now set to a level of 8 on the Zoom H6. Number two, the MKH-416 is very good at rejecting sound from the sides and behind it. You can see here that the interference tube of the 416, which is depicted by the slits on the side in front of the actual microphone capsule, is much longer than either the AT897 or the NTG2. This makes the MKH-416, being that it is so much more sensitive than the other mics, even more remarkable, considering that it is so much better at rejecting unwanted sounds from your recording environment. Now, as a quick test for this mic's ability to reject unwanted sounds, I'm going to set up a test where I have ocean sounds coming from a point off camera from my laptop and see how well each mic rejects it. I'm going to do my best to balance my voice with each mic so that you can get a real idea for the rejection capabilities of the MKH-416. This is the Sennheiser MKH-416 testing rejection of ambient noise. The level of the Zoom H6 is set to 5.5, and the mic is at a distance of 1 foot. This is the Audio-Technica AT897 testing for noise rejection. The level of the H6 is set to a volume of 7. Mic is distance at 1 foot. This is for the Rode NTG2 to test the rejection capabilities of this mic. This is at a volume of 7.5 on the Zoom H6 at a distance of 1 foot. So there you have it. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I should really be testing the 416 against a more competitive mic like the Rode NTG3, for example. But the truth is, I just want to make a video with more the intention of answering the question I said before. Is a top-of-the-line priced mic, a $1,000 mic like the MKH-416, really worth it if you already own a $200, $300 mic? I think it's clear from a simple test like that last one that the MKH-416 is just a better quality mic. The sound is much fuller and less hollow than the other two mics. But that's not really the reason I did that test. I just wanted to show you the real world applications for a high priced mic like the MKH-416. I mean, if you can go out and record on location and have less distractions on the audio track with the same volume level, many would argue that that alone is worth the price. You know, if you're rejecting sound like a lawnmower or a car driving by or the sound of the ocean like we just did right now, that is worth the price of admission to get, you know, a higher priced mic like the Sennheiser MKH-416. Now, for feature number 3, I just love the sound reproduction of this mic like I mentioned earlier. Of all the mics I've ever used, and I've used many of the ones you've probably heard of or are considering buying, the MKH-416 is the closest I've ever used to accurately reproducing my own voice without the need for EQ filters or, you know, bass removers and stuff like that. I just mentioned the Rode NTG3 before, which honestly to my knowledge is the only mic worth comparing to the MKH-416, not to mention it's about $300 cheaper, coming in at about $700. However, anyone will tell you that that mic does not reproduce the sound of your voice like the MKH-416. In fact, while the Rode NTG3 also sounds great, much better in my opinion than any of the newer Rode mics like the NTG4 for example, the NTG3 is a little more heavy on the bass side and does require a bit of finessing in post. Now, if you don't mind having to do that and you want to save $300 on a comparable mic, then maybe the NTG3 is good for you. But for me personally, I love recording content that I don't have to mess with too much in post. I love getting that natural sound straight off the microphone. And moving on to feature number 4, the build quality. This thing is just rock solid, and one of the main reasons this mic has been an industry standard for many feature films over the past several years. It performs very well even in the harshest conditions, especially if you're filming, you know, in snow or rain and all those things. Finally, number 5, this thing is tiny. I mean, it is so much smaller compared to the NTG2 and the AT897. Given the quality and the sound rejection, you'd expect this mic to be super long, super wide, super heavy, and yet this thing is just remarkably tiny, making it super easy to transport, allowing you to use lightweight mic stands without them topping over. One quick pro tip for you guys, after investing in this microphone, I also decided to buy the Rycote windshield kit designed specifically for the MKH-416, which is part of Rycote's new Perfect 4 series, meaning that this windshield kit has size appropriately matching the tiny form factor of the MKH-416, so no unnecessary size or weight added to this setup. So basically, if you don't know what a windshield kit is, you know, or a blimp as they're called, or if you're wondering why you might want to spend the extra cash to invest in one, let me explain it for you. This kit comes with a completely integrated isolation system which suspends the mic, isolating it from the stand or boom pole noise. But the key here is actually the windshield, which not only shields the front and sides of the mic like you might see with another windshield like you could see with this dead cat here on my AT897, but it also shields the mic from the rear, which makes a huge difference. If you look at the polar pattern of a condenser shotgun mic in general, you can see that yes, the majority of the sound is picked up in front of it, though the mic does pick up sound from the sides, which the microphone actively rejects, but then it also picks up sound from behind it as well. This is where a windshield kit really helps a mic like the MKH-416. Now, I was baffled the last shoot where I used this setup with the included, dead cat that came with the windshield at how little environmental noise the mic picked up and yet how clear my client's voice was. So to wrap up this episode, I'd just like to say that if you want a high quality microphone with no compromises, look no further than the Sennheiser MKH-416. There's definitely a reason this has been an industry standard for so long. And no, this is not a sponsored video, I'm just really happy with this investment. Though, if you're not in the budget for this mic, I'd recommend taking a look at the Aperture Deity shotgun mic that comes in for around $400 and fares much better against the MKH-416 compared to the AT897 or Rode NTG2 that I was testing earlier. As always, I have Amazon links to all the products I mentioned linked for you in the description below if you want to learn more about these mics or you would like to buy some of them. That obviously helps out the channel a ton and motivates me to be more consistent with new video releases, so thanks a ton for that. But that's it for this week. Hopefully this helped you if you've been considering an audio upgrade like me. If you enjoyed this content, like this video. If you have any questions, send them to me on Twitter at filmin5d, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that logo on screen for updates on new content when it's released. If you want to learn more about the Sennheiser MKH-416, check out my blog on my website. Also, take a look at my last video about HDR TVs. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.